Our lives are laid out on a road of bumps, turns, struggles, and more. How do we respond? How do we endure adversity for learning and growth? I'm Aubrey Johnson, and we'll explore these questions and more on The Road to Rediscovery. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Road to Rediscovery. I'm your host, Aubrey Johnson, and I'm so glad you're here with me. The Road to Rediscovery is about reflecting on life lessons to learn and grow from them, and of course, take it to the next level and help others who are struggling through dark times. Now, as you know, on The Road to Rediscovery, we are all about giving you quality content that is of value to you and your personal growth. If you like what you hear on the show and you'd like to support, just visit roadtorediscovery.com/donate. That's road, the number 2, rediscovery.com/donate. We'll even give you a shout out in a future episode. And as always, there is no obligation. We are truly, truly grateful for your listenership. My special guest, let me tell you, before I go into my special guest and what she has to offer, I just want to share, in my view, with the increasing sophistication of social media platforms and tools, the business ownership space has never been more competitive when it comes to having a voice, expressing your brand, and quite frankly, just trying to stay relevant, right? My special guest specializes in empowering and supporting business owners in social media management, training, copywriting, and more. Her company, Shine Social, partners with businesses immersing themselves in learning their industry, the client's industry, their brand, and their voice to help develop an online marketing strategy that is effective and gets results. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Beth Brown to the show. Hey, Beth, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I feel like such a star, like I'm walking on stage with all that applause.
Oh, I know, right? Yeah, my audience back there is they're very receptive to my guests. If you can see them,
Right, I've made the big time now.
That's right. No, you sure did, no doubt. All right, so can you start by sharing with us, like, what was life like for you growing up? Where are you from? And were you in a different profession before you decided to start your own business?
Oh gosh. Well, yes, like most people, I guess.
Hmm.
Well, if you couldn't tell, first of all, I have a very strong country twang to my voice, and but it's not going away. My husband loves it, so I guess I'll keep it. Uh, I'm from the very small community called Golden, and it's
Okay.
in the southeast corner, nestled down by Texas and Arkansas, and that's why the accent's so strong,
Hmm. Hmm.
I'm just a country girl. Grew up on a
Mm.
farm,
Yeah.
and right now I live in right outside Oklahoma City, so I'm smack dab in the middle of Oklahoma,
Hmm.
and a country girl living in the city, so I love it.
No, that's fantastic. Yeah. So you got your country roots. You're living in Oklahoma. I think we are state neighbors, with me living in North Texas, North Dallas. So uh, I've only been to Oklahoma a handful of times, and I'm actually 30 miles south of the state line, near Durant,
Oh,
Oklahoma.
of
So
course. Well, I went
yeah.
to Southeastern, where that's a university there at Durant.
Oh, yeah? Nice,
So,
nice. I did not even know that. Man,
yeah.
small world, isn't it?
Well, I went there to get my basics out of the
Okay.
way, and then I went on to graduate from Oklahoma State University.
Mhm,
And here we'll get into the diversity of what my background, and was
mhm,
one of the questions you just asked. And
mhm.
so I actually have a Bachelor of Science degree in interior design, and I did that for a little while, and I did that for a long time, actually, and I waited a long time to have children. But when I started having children is when everything started shifting and changing career
Okay.
wise.
Right.
And I got to stay at home for a while, very
Mhm,
lucky,
mhm.
and always searched for something that was family friendly. And anyway, that started my, I guess they call it multi passionate now. That's the label that we slap on ourselves when we do a lot of different things and,
Yeah.
can't stick to one thing.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
But anyway, so that's kind of what started that journey,
Hmm.
is having children and trying to do things that were very mom friendly, family
Right.
friendly, because I adored my children. I loved being a mom.
Oh, wow. That's great. Yeah. No, that's great. So, there's one thing I noticed on your website, or maybe, yeah, we're connected on Alignable, but either in part of your bio or on the company website, um, you mentioned a term which, I'll be honest with you, that I am I never heard of. I'm quite new to it,
Okay.
but I like it. Um, the term solopreneur.
Yeah. Solopreneur. Well, it's a common term,
Yeah.
it's older than the new one called multi-passionate, but yeah,
Right.
solopreneur. So I just started this on my own.
Hmm.
After being a stay-at-home mom and getting out of the interior design field, I went on to be I've been a teacher,
Right.
taught
Right.
public school. I've
Hmm.
been in the medical field. I have worked as an office administrator.
Hmm.
Goodness, owned my own business, boutiques, always had little
Wow.
side hustles going on to make
Yeah.
extra money, and just
Uh-huh.
your overall career person. And so within all those jobs, though, they would pull me in to do marketing and do the social media and create flyers and plan events, and
Right.
just kind of was a natural fit for me.
Hmm.
And then and then I've been a single mom, so I've
Hmm.
briefly thought about going into the medical field because that talk about job stability and
Right.
paying well, but that just still wasn't my thing, and
Hmm.
found such a thing on LinkedIn called virtual assistant, and I thought, okay, what is this? This sounds
Yeah.
like something I would really like to do. Work from home virtually. I mean, it's something I always look for. And
Yeah.
so I applied to a company called Filthy Rich Writer to be a virtual assistant and did not get it. I feel like I failed miserably.
Mm.
They wanted video interviews and submit everything through a video. And
Yeah.
I'm 48 years old. I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. And so I didn't
Right.
I didn't get the job. and
Hmm.
and but I was like, Filthy Rich Writer, let me see what they do actually.
Hmm.
And they had courses on copywriting, which really intrigued me.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
so I jumped all over that, and I took the course and fell in love and realized it's things just started. I've just started remembering back to when I was a kid in high school, and things I loved to do was all about marketing. I loved magazines. We had
Right.
17 magazine back then, and
Yep.
Elle and Cosmopolitan, and I would just cut it up and create collages. And I loved letters, and I loved words, and I loved graphics. And
Hmm.
I was in honors English, which to me is crazy. That's just crazy. Why would I be in honors English? I didn't even like to write. Oh, I have a dog, y'all. I have a dog. Uh,
That's okay.
so I don't even like to write. And,
Yeah.
teachers in high school want you to write with all these fluffs, adjectives, adverbs, and make sure that, you have so many pages and so many words. Well, I just wanted to, get straight to the point, tell them what I needed to say, and then draw a picture if I needed to.
Right.
They don't like that stuff. But this is what copywriting is. You're very intentional about your words, and you get it straight to the point, and
Hmm.
you don't put a lot of fluff in there. You
Hmm.
use great words that get your message across and make a converting sale.
Right.
And then with social media, well, you need that too. You need to be able to write great captions that get to the point. People don't want to spend a lot of time. And then you have a great graphic to go along with it because it stops their scroll.
Right.
And so when I didn't get this job and I took some more courses, and I thought, well, I'm just going to do this myself. Here we come with a solopreneur. Um, I just did. I just
Yeah.
jumped it, put myself out there at this virtual assistant. In fact, my company was called Shine Virtual Co. or something like that in the beginning. But my clients wanted social media management. And I thought, okay, well, only platform I was on at that time was Facebook. And I really didn't like Facebook.
Right.
But they needed it, and I understood why they needed it. And so I said, let's do it. And I
Yes.
learned how. I taught myself how to get on Instagram and fell in love. Oh my gosh. And my eyes
Hmm.
were opened. And it's just been a great fit for me.
Hmm.
It's a knack that I have. And I feel
Hmm.
like, those of us who finally find our purpose, that's what it is. it's just so natural, and it comes easy and naturally. It's your God-given gift.
Gotcha.
I hate that I waited till I was 48 to find it, but I'm glad I did. Not all of us always find it,
No, that's so true. And as the old adage says, it's never too late. So
No, never,
no. So
never.
Beth, that's absolutely awesome. So when it comes to writing copy, you have a passion for writing, I can tell. When it comes to writing copy, is it safe to say that part of creating social media content involves copywriting to a
Oh,
degree?
absolutely. I can't
Yeah.
imagine not using those copywriting skills to write captions,
Yes,
you know.
absolutely.
And I'm really big on story brand, and that's a whole
Hmm.
nother kind of technique in itself. You've got
Yeah.
to really, I like to say, if it doesn't stop the scroll,
Hmm.
then your caption can't reach the soul. You've got to have a good picture to stop the scroll, and then you have to have a great caption that reaches that soul and hits that heart.
Yeah.
And people need to, you need to write in such a way that it is easily understood by people.
Right.
And you can't just be generic about what you're writing. You have to feel it.
Hmm.
And because people can tell, you can't be fake about it. People can tell when
No.
you're being salesy and fake, and it just
Yeah.
feels icky.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. It
no
is.
one wants no one wants to be sold to, but everybody wants to buy, right?
Yeah, that's right. And 100%, it sounds like there's a fine line or a balance you have to strike between brevity, being to the point and brief, yet understandable, right? So
Yes.
yeah, yeah. So that I find that fascinating, and I'll tell you why. Because ever since I was a kid, I've been very wordy, and my father years ago would tell me, "Man, why does it take you so many words to answer a question?" Blah blah blah, and I'm just like, "Hey, I just want to make sure they understand where I'm coming from and what I'm saying." He's like, "You can get
Right.
the
Right.
same point across in less words." And so for me, and I know it's a development item for me, right? And I try, and I'm conscious about it, and I try to work on it every single day. But in what you do with copywriting, it sounds like you have it down to an art.
It's
So
an art. It's an
yeah,
For me. I mean, it's what I love, and I'm always wanting to do better, and I'm
yeah,
always trying to learn and relearn and read the book again, and just keep when I know I missed something before.
yeah, yeah.
But yeah, but I'm not going to write a book. You're not going to see me write a
No.
book. It's people like you that are writing the books, right?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. No,
So yeah, I'm sorry, there goes my nose again. I'm sorry.
no, that's quite all right. I
She's
I
such
have
a
one.
worker.
So's mine. I'm surprised she hasn't started up yet. So it's only a matter of time for sure. So not a problem at all. So Beth, let me ask you, how far of a stretch was it for you to adapt uh, copywriting, marketing principles and concepts from a non-social media space to the social media space? Because I have to commend you for listening to the voice of your customer, where your clients were saying, they want social media management. And obviously, you had to make a pivot to include that into your toolbox. How far of a stretch was it to go from one side to the other?
It wasn't all because when I started with the copywriting path, and
Right.
I really thought I'd be writing email funnels for skincare or something.
Yeah.
But my first client, okay, y'all, this is crazy. And I needed a client so bad. Now I'm a little bit more selective. I want to make sure we're aligned and
Yeah.
can communicate well. But
Yeah.
my very first client, it was a sexual psychotherapist.
Oh my.
Right. And she asked me, she's like, "Do you think you'll be able to, since she was in a whole nother state and considered herself on the liberal side."
Mhm.
And I just consider myself in the middle of the road kind of, but
Yeah.
I guess she knew, knowing that I was from Oklahoma, was like, "Do you think you can write what I need you to write?" I'm
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
"Well." there's only one way to find out, and let's just do it,
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, we had some communication breakdowns, and I just couldn't
Yeah.
ever, you know. My second client was a boutique owner, and she needed
Hmm.
to pivot from having a brick and mortar to being online sales.
Okay.
Um, and so, I mean, I had these two very different clients to start out with, and
Yeah.
had to figure out how I could get people to click on that post.
Yeah.
It's as
Yeah.
easy as it seems. And so, I mean, I was determined, and,
Hmm.
um, we just, and it just all went from there. And
Gotcha.
anyway, and now,
Yeah.
now I am a little bit more selective and careful about who I work with, and I want to make sure I can help them, and that we are a good fit, because, I don't
Yeah.
like to fail.
Yeah, no, I don't either, and who likes to fail? I mean, other than the fact that it's a learning opportunity, it's a learning lesson. As long as you stay the course, um, you know, uh, failing, we prefer to go the other direction, right, and succeed. So, yeah, and it leads to success. I believe that. You know,
Well,
so
I mean, you can't experience happiness without the sad, and
that's
you can't
right.
experience success without the failure. So, I
Yep,
mean, you've
absolutely.
got to have that attitude of
Hmm.
every fail is a lesson learned,
Yes.
and it's just going to make you better.
Yes. Oh, no, 100%. Yeah. I mean, it builds character, and there's a lot to be grasped out of that. And I know you've had your fair share of challenges when it comes to the the nature of work that you do, okay? Um, like I mentioned in the introduction, right? The sophistication, the increasing sophistication of technology and social media continues to grow. From additional social platforms to mobile versions of those platforms to just different ways that people communicate and interact and so forth. Um, Let me ask you, what kind of how challenging has it been for your company in staying up to date and afloat on just the latest trends, the latest platforms? It's an ever-changing world. So, how challenging is that for your company?
Oh man, it's to me, I see the challenge and I accept.
Yeah,
You can't do everything.
right.
You need to focus on what you do well. And when Instagram recently started changing the hashtags,
Yeah.
or from you can't put hashtags in the comments anymore, you have to put them in the captions, and then you
Hmm.
only need to go from 5 to 15 instead of the
Hmm.
30 that they allow.
Hmm.
And then we had the Facebook blackout day, a few months ago, and everyone's like, "Oh, social media is over," and and really, social media is not ever going away.
No.
It's going to change,
Yep.
and just like Instagram, yeah, they make changes. You stick with the ones that are really going to affect you, and the other ones, if they're not going to affect you that much, then why stress over it?
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
give you 30 hashtags for a reason.
Yeah. Yeah.
They didn't cut it down to 15.
Hmm.
So, I mean, and you don't have to use all 30, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
Just
Oh yeah.
if they said don't put in the content, put in the caption, I'll put in the caption. But do you think I stopped using my 30? No. I'm
Nope.
like, I'm going to take advantage. They give us 30. I'm going to use 30.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
so, it's, I think for me and all my industry friends, we talk a lot, in social
Hmm.
media.
Hmm.
Um, we basically kind of do it the same way. We don't worry about some things, and other things we like another change, but we do it right.
Right, right, yeah.
And
It's a challenge that you accept.
exactly, we just keep
Yeah,
going and rolling,
yeah,
uh and just keep making people happy. And sometimes the algorithm, one week our hashtags aren't being seen, and the next week it's going crazy again. So you don't
right.
stress out, you just go up and down, and you just keep staying constant.
No, I got you. And I have a question that I want to ask you regarding that. But first, I wanted to just run by you your thoughts on the term social media, right? I don't think that was a common household term, social media 30
Right.
years ago or even 40 years
Oh,
ago, right?
well,
B-
heck, we didn't even have cell phones.
No,
So,
we didn't. But I want to ask you, did social media exist back then? And if so, in what way? What form do you think?
oh gosh, that's a good question. I'd have to look at it as, well, yeah, I mean, we had phones,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
Um, you know, I think about when I'm aging myself tremendously here, but we had phones and
Yeah.
we had the, what is it, three-way calling, and then you had the party lines,
Party
and
lines. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
then you had radio where on
Yep.
Friday nights you could do, what was it when they could, dedication nights.
Yeah, dedication or be the 10th caller and win tickets and things
Right.
like
I
that.
mean,
Yeah.
there was always people. My God, I'm sorry about my dog.
No,
Uh,
that's okay.
there was always people were looking for new ways to get their message out to each
Right.
other
Right.
and communicate other than seeing each other in person.
Yes.
So those two ways, I mean, were big. I didn't get my cell phone until I was graduating high school, and it was a bag phone with a little antenna stuck to my car.
I remember those. I used to have
Oh,
one.
I know. We barely had working computers back then, if you think about it, and the
Very
internet
true.
was so slow.
Yes.
I mean,
Yes.
today, if our internet did that, we would just all be like, "Oh my God, we're dying."
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean, having that type of lag in performance is really not tolerated these days, right?
No, and that's why it's so quick. Everybody's attention span. We got to keep moving, keep moving. You have 7 seconds for to make an impression on social media.
Right.
And even on websites, you've got to now it's even more so where the website is very minimal on your copy. And you got to have everything in that top screen. And
Right.
then the further you scroll down, the less interested they become. So you've got to make sure you've got your call to actions in there and those buttons to push to schedule with you. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you've got to be very intentional about your words because
Mhm. Mhm.
people don't want any, kind of BS on that kind of stuff.
No, no, they don't at all. And I kind of equate it to I'm dating myself now. This I had a job many years ago in the merchandising department of a drugstore chain,
Uh-huh.
and and uh, and in the merchandising department, I put together what's called planograms, and planograms were for different departments, right? For like bath, health and beauty aids, eye care, all these different sections the within the drugstore. Uh, Part of the strategy was the big bangers that turned over more and more sales were the ones that were at eye level, you know,
Right.
and so, people are in a hurry, and so, they look at stuff that's at eye level, and that gets the grab more often than, say, something that's like, 6 inches above the floor on the bottom shelf, right?
Right. Right.
Yeah, so is that kinda similar to, that eye level, first top half of the website homepage or
Yeah. I mean,
yeah,
you've got to really make people have got to get what you do right then.
yeah,
I mean, if they're confused and
mhm,
they don't understand what you offer,
mhm,
then they're probably not going to stick around long on your website to see what else you got.
gotcha, gotcha,
That's where you put what you do and state it very clearly.
yeah.
You don't have to be all fancy with your words and cute and everything. I mean,
Yeah.
people don't want to be confused.
No, no, not at all, and so that's go time for Mr. Business Owner or Ms. Business Owner to say who they are and what they're about, be brief, be to the point, but clear, right?
Right. and then tell
Yeah.
people how to work with you. I mean, there's
Yes.
all kinds of stuff, steps I go through on like writing copy for a website, but
Sure.
it's just so important now these days to make sure that people don't have to spend as many calories, trying to figure it out. They don't want to.
No. No, you're right, they don't. And so, leads me to another question, regarding this. I don't wanna call it instant gratification, but that attention span gets shorter and shorter and shorter over time.
I know.
And so I wanna know your thoughts. Uh, has social media contributed, or played a big part in the reduction of people's attention spans, or was this something that society was like moving in that direction regardless of social media being involved?
Oh, I mean, I think it's always been
Yeah.
way. It's been a gradual move just because technology gets smarter,
Technology,
you know,
convenience. Yeah.
convenience. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine having to walk to town instead of riding a horse. With
Right,
your
right.
town, you're going to notice all the pebbles and quartz in the road, and you're going to
Yep.
notice snake slither or lizard or, you know,
That's right.
I mean, there's no telling what, or you might hear a tree fall in the forest, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
then you got the horses. You get on the horses and you're noticing less. And then from the horses, you've got, cars and you're noticing
yeah,
even less than that because you're, you know, driving
yeah,
a car. So
yeah.
now that we have cell phones,
Mhm.
um, it's just everything's become more convenient, more convenient, more convenient.
Yeah,
So I don't know
yeah.
how much more convenient we can get. I'm sure we can. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
gonna be fun. Maybe I'll be
no,
retired by then.
maybe I'll be retired by then, uh, 10 years ago, I would have never even fathomed the thought of, um, um, I forget what they call it, parking spot delivery, on-site
Oh,
delivery, you
right?
know? Yeah, like at Walmart when you pull up to the parking spot and
Exactly. Or
then
even
they come
Uber
out.
or even,
Yeah,
the shipped stuff.
yeah.
I mean, it's crazy. I've taken advantage of it for sure during COVID, but
Oh, for sure, yeah, 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 I
dang,
mean,
it's amazing the things that people have pivoted to and come up with.
yeah, convenience, right? I mean,
Right.
yeah, and even as early, like you said, Uber, even as early as, for me, my introduction to Uber came in 2015. No, 2014. And so, I was thinking, "My goodness," um, someone told me about this service called Uber. Yeah, you download the app and put your credit card to it, and there's a GPS that says who's in the area, and they pick you up and blah, blah, blah." And I'm thinking, this is mind blowing. Now people are considering doing this, when 10 years ago they wouldn't get in a car with a stranger, right? I
No,
mean, you'd have to have a yellow vehicle with the checkers going across the front, on the side, in order to, consider getting into that vehicle, a taxi cab.
oh
But
God. Well, I may
yeah.
make some people mad with this one, but I have a teenage daughter who can't drive yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, and do you know if she has friends that whose parents will Uber them around so they don't have to take them?
What?
And I'm like, I draw the line.
Yeah.
I draw the line.
Hmm,
And I'll
hmm.
never say never because I don't want to do it. So I'm not going to put that on myself. But
Right,
I,
right.
j- I just draw the line there. I'm not going to, I don't want to have to ever Uber my daughter anywhere because I
No.
can't do it or I'm just that desperate because I don't feel like it or I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. You just mentioning that, Beth, is the first time I've ever heard of that happening. That's mind blowing,
I
you
mean,
know?
why not just say, no, you can't go?
Yeah, just say, yeah, no, you can't go,
I
I
don't feel
mean,
like getting out. So, no, I'm not going to take you. And you're just going to have to stay home. I'm sorry.
yeah, I mean, that's life, right? You have your whole life ahead of you. They'll be just fine. I'm sorry, I'm a bit old school about it, but
And I can't hardly stand. I mean, the other thing, talking about this kind of, we can get back on, completely off track, but,
that's okay. That's all
you
right.
know, uh, we live 20 miles or from the nearest Chick-fil-A, say, or
Yeah, yeah.
15, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm not about to have Grubhub or somebody bring me Chick-fil-A and
No.
spend $10 or $15 over what you, oh my goodness, y'all.
Yeah, for delivery, right? I mean, for living
This is
that
my
far away from it.
real self coming out now. Here you go.
Yeah. Nope, that's quite all right. Nope, that's quite all right. Yeah, I mean, I love the conveniences. I love the different types of services. I don't take advantage of all of them, but there are some that I just have to draw the line at as well. So I'm right there in lockstep with you, Beth. I wanted to just also wanted to see what your thoughts are when it comes to trends or attracting consumers. What drives the trends and what drives the appeal and the attraction for consumers? Is it the latest tech gadget? Is it the way a company brands themselves? Is it clickbait? I don't know. I mean, but
Right.
do businesses have the capability? Do they have the capability of of help driving that trend if they have a solid branding and marketing strategy?
Oh, I'm sure they do. I mean,
Okay.
I, I guess, I've seen the clickbait stuff and the kind of tricky ways of getting people to sign up for an email list. And that's just
Yeah.
it all. I can't.
Yeah.
If it feels icky, I can't do it.
Yeah.
Um,
I agree.
but, I think what's trending now as far as growing businesses is relationship building, and
Mhm,
Alignable's really good at this.
mhm.
Here's my plug for Alignable, right?
All right.
I'm a fan of Alignable.
Mhm.
It's my main platform right now, and I'm on all of them about.
Wow.
Um, but I'm getting the biggest ROI on Alignable.
Yeah.
That's where
Yeah.
all of my right now. I look at my calendar. Everyone that has contacted me for discovery call or new client thing
Mhm,
meeting
mhm.
has been from Alignable, and
Mm.
this is why, because people are sick of being sold to. They
Yep.
they still want to buy. They still need
Yep.
to know how to buy,
Mhm.
but they want a relationship first. They want to know that you're not going to take advantage of them. They want to know that you're authentic and that you've got
Right.
their back.
Right.
And I'd much rather spend $20 with this person if I felt like I trusted them, rather than
Yeah.
spend $10 with this person who had some kind of great branding or whatever, something flashy
Yeah.
going on. I
Right.
mean, I think that's the trend right now. And I like to call it referral ships, building referral ships. You
Gotcha.
know, I want to know what you do.
Yeah.
I don't want to have to sell myself. I just want to
Right.
hear about what you do. And then people
Yeah.
that hear about what I do, and they were like, oh, I really like you because of who you are, the person you are. They like you because of the person you are. Then they're like, well, who do I know that you need to know that needs your business? Maybe it's me,
Yes.
but maybe
Yes.
somebody of my friends that do.
I see. Yes. No, that's absolutely right, right? I mean, it's not talking till you're blue in the face to a prospective client about what you can do. You know, the
Right.
the the authenticity comes in when you're connecting and building relationships and you are listening to the needs of the prospective client. You're letting them know that they matter when you are active listening and getting getting an understanding of what their needs are, what their challenges are,
Right.
and
Solving
just
their
organically
problem.
it builds.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, you have to solve their problem. That you have to
yeah,
understand what their problems are,
right.
so that you can say, "Hey, I have the solution for you."
Yes,
And this is what this work. I have the solution. This is how you work with me. Um, Feel free to call me.
yes,
It's all about making that relationship first, and then
yes.
going further from there.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I thought I've heard the same thing when it came to social media because I know, well, back in the older days, before social media, before the internet, it was about making relationships, but they also talked about the importance of got to get the sale, got to get the sale, got to get the sale. And now I see a
Yeah.
shift where it's less of got to get the sale, got to get the sale to more of connecting with people, establishing relationships. And I like that, right? Because uh
Yes.
yeah, if we go old school, the number one best marketing tool, at least from what I read, and please call me out if this is inaccurate, word of mouth is the number one marketing type when it comes to getting a business. It
Oh,
goes a
hands
long
down.
way.
I mean,
Yeah.
well, some people are so big they don't need it, like, Nike or something, but
Oh, well, sure. It
uh,
sells himself right
right.
at that
But
size,
for the
but yeah.
majority of us, word of mouth is
Hmm.
it. You
Yes.
know, I love to refer people when I know they're great and
Hmm.
are a good fit. And then
Hmm.
I love to get referrals, you know.
Yes. Yes, and I've seen on your profile page on Alignable, you have a lot of referrals, and I wanted to also ask you about that. Um, your referrals are very genuine. I mean, they talk about your authenticity. They talk about your knowledge of the industry, and they also refer to your attentiveness in understanding the needs, their needs, the person referring you. Um, what do you think? I mean, like you said, you come from the South, and you have this dialect, and do you think, especially when it comes to a lot of the other companies, let's say older businesses or businesses where the owners are of a generation um, that really aren't into this tech stuff, but they know they have to have a presence somewhere to, to keep business going. And you help out those business owners. Do you help simplify uh, social media marketing for those types of businesses? I hope that
Oh my
makes sense.
gosh, absolutely. Because, not social, I mean, like with any industry, you
Hmm.
have to, if you don't go get a degree in it, like a doctor or something,
Yeah.
then you've got to you've learned how to do it. And so
Hmm.
it's easier when you love it. And I love it. And not everybody loves it, which I don't get. Why doesn't everybody love
Right.
I mean, I don't understand, but they don't, and that's
Yeah.
okay.
Uh-huh.
And that's the people I help, or the
Hmm.
people who don't love it,
Hmm.
and I do. So, I just
Yeah.
social. You don't have to be on social media, um, but this is the way I explain social media: is if you have a business, social media is like your storefront, and people will walk by like they're shopping on social media and look in your storefront to see what you offer.
Right.
That's where they first get an idea of whether or not they like what you have, or
Hmm.
what you have to offer.
Hmm.
Then that's when they decide if they're going to come in and shop or not. So social
Right.
media solves that problem. It's your
Hmm.
storefront. It's got to show value. um, you have to kind of give your personality and the things you like, and you have to be authentic.
Yes.
It's not so it's all about value.
Right.
There's no fake stuff going on there. I mean, there's people say social media is fake, but I think that's why I like it for business,
Hmm.
and I don't really use it much for personal stuff because I don't want people all in my business, knowing all my
Yeah.
personal things.
No.
But for business, it's fun.
Mhm.
Think about how you shop for things. You get on social media and kind of look whatever platform you like and look for that
Right.
business to see what they have before you kind of go further. Then from there, you might go to their website, especially if they're not local.
Right.
And that's where the conversion happens. Um,
Okay.
I don't make too, I mean, I'm service based, so I don't make a lot of sales on social media. It's
Right.
after they see me on social media, then we connect. They might go to my website, they might schedule with me, and that's when the sale is made, when we have a one-on-one connection. But
Right.
they had to go to social media to see me first.
Right. The social media is what helped connect the 2 of you, and
Right.
it's what you provide outside of that, um, but at the same time using that for their business,
Right.
where that sale comes in, right? So, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then even if you have a brick and mortar, like, you still need a presence. People go to social media to see if you're there. If you're not there, they even wonder, like, well, what kind of business are you if you're not on social media?
Right. Right.
And if you haven't been posting for a while, you have some old posts, they're wondering
Mhm.
if you're still in business
Mhm.
because you haven't posted in forever. So you don't, I mean, for a lot of businesses, you don't have to post every day, just stay consistent.
Right.
And
Right.
But for some product-based businesses who get 98% of their sales from online sales, that's a whole different story. They post every
Yes.
hour on the hour.
Yeah.
It's insane. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, there's
Mhm.
all kind of strategy, different types of strategy, and it's all very customized to whatever kind of business you have.
I got you. So if most businesses obviously have the objective of getting a revenue, right?
Right,
Getting and in sales, they have a product or service. In a lot of cases, the website or web presence or social media profile um, is just a channel to get to that brick and mortar, like you mentioned earlier. In other cases, it that is the only presence online.
right,
Um, Now, what about people who, I guess they're business owners, but they don't use the web for generating the sales, but they want to use it for information. They want to draw visits. They want
right.
to people to hear their message. You know, is there a different strategy that's required for getting the attention of people, if that's your objective versus a
Right.
sale
Yeah,
and revenue?
you're going to have different, it depends on your goal for social media. What do you want it
Right,
to do for you?
right.
If it's to generate a following, that's one goal. If it's to get more hits on your website so that people make more sales with you, that's a
Yeah,
different goal.
yeah.
But for some people that are just trying to, well, let's see. I have maybe a friend who has a podcast, and I'm not talking about you. You're one with podcast. But I do have another friend that has a podcast.
Yeah,
We do her social media. She doesn't have any products, and she sort of has a service. It's kind of different. But
okay.
social media is very important to her because it brings more awareness
Yes.
to what she's trying to promote, which is healthier living. And I'm talking about green living and,
Mhm.
and energy uh, uh, savings and
Sure.
cleaner air. So
Yeah.
she, using low VOC paints. She's all about educating people,
Mhm.
and she's not selling a product. She's just wanting to educate people. So
Right.
all of our, social media for her is about spreading awareness and educating her following. And talk about a niche market.
Yeah.
It's been a slow growth, but that's how it is with organic social media. It's
Yeah.
worth it because you have more quality followers and engagement, but it's not fast. Um,
Yeah, it's a marathon, not a sprint for
so
sure.
we share her podcast. I believe
Mhm.
she has an email funnel.
Mhm.
There's just a lot of different ways, but social media for her is to build awareness about what she does, so that she can go in and maybe do workshops with realtors or
Mhm.
uh, I don't know. She's
Yeah.
it's all about educating her stuff. So yeah, there's a go for everybody, and you just have to see the value in it. And
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, and you specialize in conveying that value, for your clients and
right,
and yeah.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do Facebook ads, but I do have a
Mhm.
person on my team that does. And so Facebook
Gotcha.
ads aren't for everybody, but they
Mhm.
can definitely be helpful in certain cases. So
Sure.
it's just you have to just be very careful. You might think, oh well, let me go boost this post. Not a good idea.
Mhm. No.
But I'm going to get you what you want. You've got to have these other things in place first. So it's all a matter of educating yourself and making sure that you understand what you want from social media and how you want it to work for you.
That makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. Wow. Well, Beth, as we start to wrap this up, I wanted to ask you, um, in your journey so far, from all the small businesses that you've explored uh, prior to Social Shine,
Right.
to now having the business and the emergence of the internet and social media, the advancement of platforms and technology, and all this part of your journey. What is one key thing that you've learned about yourself that that has really changed the game in your journey so far?
Well, um, I used to beat myself up for having such a diverse background.
Hmm.
I couldn't stick with one thing for longer than 2 years. And I'm just like,
Hmm.
why? it just seemed like such a negative trait.
Yeah.
And yes, I finally found my thing, but the blessing behind it all is that because of these diverse things I've done, I mean, in the medical field, I would never have been able to write copy for a physician or
Yeah.
any kind of person in the medical field without having the background. And
That's
actually,
right.
I did flu injections. I drew blood.
Hmm.
I took X-rays of people and worked at a cardiologist office every Wednesday for a year. Um,
Yeah.
and it was a float position, and I was in a lot of different clinics, and
Hmm.
I just absorbed that stuff.
Hmm.
Owning my own business. How could I help a business owner if I haven't ever owned my own business?
That's right.
How could
Yep.
I have? How could I be writing for people that are going through divorce if I hadn't been divorced myself?
Right.
How could I write about all these diverse things if I hadn't
Yeah.
had such a diverse background?
So true. And the ironic thing, and to me that's part of the beauty of this, right, as it unfolds, is at the time you're going through each of those chapters or seasons in your journey, you don't know in what way or what capacity it will serve years down the line when you are in a new season, a new chapter. But it all plays a part, right?
Right. It all works together.
Yeah.
And that's why, I mean, we didn't even get into um, the worst part of my story, which I thought we'd be sharing, but that's okay. It's never easy to tell my story sometimes,
Mm,
and I went
mhm.
through to get to where I am. But
Yeah.
that's why it's called Shine Social Codes, because I chose joy, I chose to heal, I chose to shine and let,
Mhm.
Jesus' light shine through me
Mhm.
so that other people who saw me could say, well, she overcame. I
Yeah.
can this too. And
Yeah.
then it's become even bigger than that. I help people shine their light online. I help their businesses and their these other solopreneurs, these other people working hard in their businesses to take my gift that I've been given to work for them so that they're shining here, so that they're
Yes.
building. So it's a beautiful thing how we help one another. And when you find the right people
Yeah.
to pull in and help you grow your business, it's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, and as you're saying this, Beth, I'm feeling the feeling I'm getting from you, the vibe I'm getting from you is joy,
Yay.
and that's beautiful and it's infectious, right?
It is. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
choose joy. Well, you don't have to, but it's a smart thing if you choose joy for real.
Yes. Yeah.
We
Because
either let what happens to us
mhm,
bring us down,
yep,
or we can let it mold us and make us stronger and help other people.
that's right. Which you are doing tenfold. So that brings us to my next question, my last question. And how can the listeners learn more about you and connect with you and maybe even, set up a business discovery session?
Yeah, of course. So I'm on all the platforms: Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, LinkedIn,
Hmm.
Twitter. I'm
Hmm.
on Twitter because I have clients on Twitter and I had to learn how it worked, right?
Right.
I've enjoyed Twitter actually. I haven't been on very long. But it's Shine Social Co on all the platforms.
Okay.
Social Co. And then, of course, last but not least, is my favorite, and the way you and I connected was on Alignable. And
Yes.
so, if they don't have a preference, if they're not like Instagram people or Facebook people, come join us on Alignable. You'll be
Yes.
glad you did. I'll be happy to help you navigate that platform. I'm telling you, it's my number one platform, and it's becoming a lot of other people's too. So just join me at Alignable. Search me up, Beth Brown, Shine Social Co., and let's connect. And that's all it takes is a connection on Alignable.
Wonderful. Yeah, we're going to have direct links to your social mediums and your website on the episode show notes so people can directly click those links, access, and learn more about you while listening to this awesome conversation.
And that's so hard because I really want to bring the thing back to you. Well,
Mhm.
Aubrey, tell me about you. Tell me how we get in touch.
Well, I know we are going to have a conversation, a few days from now, and I'm very, very thrilled and excited to tell you a little bit more about me and about my mission and my hopes and dreams, for what we're doing here. And one thing I will say is, there's tons of podcasts out there, tons.
Yeah.
And there's tons of podcasts out there about self-improvement, self-development. And, I'm just a drop in the bucket. I'm just one person who wants to contribute to that movement, right?
Right.
There's a lot of fake news out there in the world. There's a lot of catfishing. There's a lot of spamming. There's a lot of scamming, and it seems to it seems to have the potential to overwhelm the good that we get out of social media,
Uh,
like connections, right? I mean, you are my 12th interview since I've joined Alignable from Alignable. And I run all these different metrics and reports of where I get my guests from.
mhm.
And some are from Twitter, some are from just different platforms. And I've gotten 12 in the short period of time I've been premium on Alignable. So to me, that says a lot. And like you mentioned, it's growing in my world to be one of the top platforms where I interact with people.
Right. It's
Yeah.
and the quality of business owners there. I mean, there's still a few that don't
Yes.
get it, but we're
Right.
going to convert them and show them how
Oh
to
yeah.
build a referral ship.
Yeah. Yeah. No, we sure will. We sure will. And hey, by the way, I'm going to connect with you on other social mediums as well. I don't think I'm connected to you or follow you on Instagram, but I'm going to make sure and do that. And I just love to see some of the cool stuff your company is doing for business owners. Yeah.
We really have I mean, we love it. Couldn't do it if we didn't.
Nope, that's true. That's true, and it shows in just how you speak. It shows in how you're expressing, your own journey and how you express the sentiments of the clients and just describing what you do. I can tell that you love it for sure. Beth Brown, thanks once again for coming on the show. I want us to stay in touch. I know we will. We have a conversation scheduled a few days from now, but beyond that, let's continue to stay in touch. Love to have you come back on the show some months down the line to share any updates with the listeners.
Yeah, and thank you, Aubrey. I'll be sending some more podcast people your way, hopefully.
Oh, yeah, please do. Yeah, that would be awesome. Awesome. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in and listening. And furthermore, if you have a loved one or a colleague or coworker, friend who seems to be just down and out, deep in despair, dark days, unsure where to turn, unsure where to get guidance or direction, I humbly ask that you please share this podcast with them because on the road to rediscovery, there are two things we want our listeners to know. Number one, you're not alone. And number two, there is always hope. The road to rediscovery, it's a movement, a revolution. And guess what? You are now part of it. We're all roadies on this journey of life, and it sure feels good having you on the road with me. Thanks again for listening. We'll chat again soon. We really hope you enjoyed this episode of The Road to Rediscovery. We'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email at roadtorediscoverypodcast@gmail.com and leave us any questions or comments you may have. The Road to Rediscovery is an AJ Shark production.